Hello everyone, and welcome to this edition of Sports Central. Great show today. We have Coach Jenn Gosline and Lawson Dickey, the head swim coach and swimmer for George Jenkins High School. Coach Clay Roberts, the head men's soccer coach for Southeastern University and head coach for the Lakeland Tropics indoor soccer team, and Coach Keith Barefield, head football coach at Southeastern University. We got a great show coming up right after this on Sports Central. Hello everyone, and welcome to our first segment on Sports Central. Hank Longo along with the lovely Jessica Roberts.
I'm back.
What a treat this is. I'm going to love this show. We're going to have a lot of fun. And we have a great sponsor for our first segment.
Harry's Seafood Bar and Grill in Lakeland.
And what wonderful guests for segment number one, especially with the Olympics coming up. We're going to have a great show, and we're going to be able to get a little bit of that spice in there. But joining us for our first segment is Coach Jenn Gosline and Lawson Dickey, our head swim coach at George Jenkins and our swimmer from George Jenkins that is going to tear it up this year.
Yes,
I can feel it. I can feel it. I can feel it. Well, Coach, let's start with you. How did you get involved in swimming?
I was a year-round swimmer when I was in high school at George Jenkins. The first 3 years Jenkins was open. And my club coach, Bud Bowden and Chuck Black, asked me to start coaching their club team with the little kids. 20 years later, I'm still doing it.
Wow, that's fantastic. And did you drag Lawson into this, or did he just kind of show up one day?
He came with one new swimmer that we had had a year before, Elizabeth Gonzalez. But I'll let him tell you how he got started.
Yes, well, I was looking for a sport to play in high school, and at the time I was neighbors with Elizabeth Gonzalez, a former swimmer that just graduated this year, and she said, come and join swimming because she had so much fun her first year. So we went to the first practice, and there was just such a great atmosphere that I just instantly got connected.
Very cool. And what is your favorite event in swimming? And is it your favorite because it's the best you compete in, or is it just your favorite?
My favorite event is the 200 free because I'm the most successful at it. Every time I swim the race, I beat my own personal best record, and it just boosts my confidence to swim stronger and faster every time.
Wow.
So you're beating your record, so you're amping it up a little bit every time you get out there. Now, I don't know if people realize how much time you spend in the pool, though, just to do a 200-yard.
Yes, sir. It's a lot of time.
It's a lot. How much time do you spend in the water, do you think?
Well, every day I usually spend about 2 hours to an hour in the pool, and it's just constant swimming. That's all you gotta do is. You gotta work at it every day,
There's no letting up.
Yeah, you have to have so much dedication to the sport in order to be good at it.
But isn't the great thing that after all that swimming, you can basically eat whatever you want?
Yes, that is also one of the.
You kind of don't really have to worry about that boyish figure, do you? You just keep on swimming, and I'll take another Big Mac to go with those fries.
Yes, sir.
Well, that's great.
Yes.
Coach, you've got a great program at Jenkins, and what do you credit your success?
Going back to Bud and Coach Black, they really instilled a lot in me as being a first-year coach. But I do a lot of research and try new things with them. Like last year, we tied car wash sponges to a rope and put it around a belt, so that way they're dragging the sponges as well. So I try new things, see if it works. If not, we tweak it and go from there.
You know, now that you brought that up, have you ever thought about putting a tire on a rope and having them swim with the...
No, but we flip tires during dry land training.
Yes.
Do you?
Yes, there are some
Really?
very big tires. You can almost say monster truck tires, but it's very hard, but
Because we'll do an hour and a half of swimming and then an
Okay.
hour of dry land training after that.
Wow.
And that's every day?
Monday
Yes.
through Friday.
Yes,
Monday
every
through
day.
Friday, wow.
And then Saturdays we'll just swim and work on technique and turns and starts.
And so, you know, let's talk about turns and starts, because this is such a great show to have with the Olympics coming up, and we can dive into that a little bit more too. But, you know, if you're just watching it, you don't really know what's the difference between that guy starting and the other guy starting, and the difference of the turns and the pools. But those are two of the most key elements
Yes,
in
definitely.
the race. So
if
let's
you don't have a
start with-
good start in the 50 free, you've
you're
already
done.
lost your race.
And what is that? What do they do for that?
You have to work on reaction time. We do a lot of clapping drills where they won't look at me. They'll go down and just close their eyes, and I'll say, take your mark, go, and they all have to clap together, and to see who's delayed and who's not. We'll dive through hula hoops
Yes.
to work on entering through one single hole. And the flip turns, I'll usually get in the pool and I'll help them rotate fast, because it has to be a fast turn.
So when you dive into the hoop, okay, let's talk about the dive. Are they trying to go far?
They're trying to
off
go
the block?
forward and up at the same time, because you want to
Okay.
get out the furthest possible.
Okay, okay.
And so how is she as a coach? What do you think?
Coach Jenn is a very good coach because she focuses on every aspect of the sport. We do team building like the first week of the season, and it just brings all of the swimmers together to make friendships, for everyone to get to know each other, and then she looks at the swimmers' weaknesses and what their strengths are, and she works on them individually at a time. So, yeah.
You feel like you're getting a little special attention there,
Yeah.
which helps. Which, I mean, you know, to be able to, you know, get aside and kind of get, you know, coached by yourself. You're getting that personalized instruction, but it also has to help build up their confidence a little bit too.
Oh, without a
that
doubt.
you're talking to them. Now, you were a newbie when you got into this,
Yes.
and you know, you've gotten to the regionals last year as a junior. So he must be progressing very well.
Yes, he is very dedicated and very hardworking. In the wintertime, he has joined Lakeland Area Swimming, which I also coach at. I started that up at Florida Southern with Duncan Sherrard, who's now up at the University of North Carolina, and Mike Blum, who's the head coach at Florida Southern, and we have a year-round program up there. And we have a high school development group that some of these kids go to. But we also have a senior group that goes 5 afternoons and Saturday mornings, and then a goal group that goes 3 mornings before school, 5 afternoons after school, and then Saturday mornings as well.
Wow.
Yes.
What are your team's expectations for this upcoming season?
The boys want to go county championships again. We won the last 2
Yeah.
years by few points just because we don't have
Yes.
any guy divers. Winter Haven usually has 4 guy divers, so they'll start off with 85 points, usually off the bat. And the last 2 years we've won by, I think it was 3 points 2
Yeah.
years ago,
Wow.
and 7 or 9 points last year. So we're going to try that. I just got a bunch of new freshman girls, so we're hoping that we can come back again and win the girls' county championship and see how many we could take on at regionals and state.
You know, when you bring that up, I never thought about that, but when you have the swim team, you not only are you having the swimmers, but you have the divers as well.
Yep, it's only one event, 1 meter diving, springboard, but most people don't want to dare going off a diving board.
You know, I love the diving board. I mean, I never was a diver. I learned to do a gainer. And there is a time when we were on the ski circuit in the summer, we'd always go to find a pool with a high diving board just to do a gainer. But that's all I ever did was a gainer. But, you know, when you get into diving, you would hope that you would get some of the kids from gymnastics, because that's really what
Yeah.
it is.
We
is
got a
you
new
gotta
girl
know
this
where you
year.
are in
Yep.
the air. And
We have a new girl this year that was a gymnast at gymnastics, etc., that wants to try diving. So she's taking lessons down at Brandon with Chris Colwell, who's a former Olympic diver.
oh, wow.
Yeah.
There's your segue to the Olympics.
Yeah, segue into the Olympics. So who's your favorite Olympic hero?
Well, right now it is Katie Ledecky because
Okay.
she is a long distance swimmer, and
Uh-huh.
as I am myself, so I look at her and how she swims to get new strategies and just learning.
And so what have you learned from her? What are some of the things that she's taught you?
Well, it's to always conserve your energy. You don't want to go all out the entire race.
And then get burnt out when you need to kick it in at the end.
You just want to start off smooth. Well, you want to start off with a boost at the beginning, but as the race goes on, you want to go as smooth as you can, and then as the hundreds build up, you just want to gain your speed a little bit faster and faster every single time. And then at that last race, you give it your all, because you can tell yourself in your mind that when you're finished with the race, you'll get all the time in the world you need to rest.
So you just gotta just go for it.
So yes, you just go for it all. And
so there's quite a little bit of a mental strategy there too, as well as you've got to, you know, have it up top to be able to think of all this while you're swimming, you know. And are you aware of your times while you're doing this, or?
No, I swim as fast as I can. I keep track of what lap I'm on and where I'm at, as in position. Like if I'm in first place or second place.
As I'm jumping up and down, so yelling, go faster.
As I'm swimming and I go to take a breath, I usually see my coach on the sideline going, go, go, go. And that's what really helps.
Inspires you a little bit.
It boosts up my mental
toughness and.
Yes.
Very good, very good. And Coach, who's your favorite coming up in the Olympics?
Ryan Lochte. He's a Florida boy from Daytona Beach, swam at the University of Florida, and I've always loved watching him swim.
Now, wasn't he hurt for a little while?
Yes, he pulled his groin during the 400 IM at Olympic trials.
Okay, but he's still in.
He's still in. He's got the 800 freestyle relay, and he has the 200 IM versus Phelps, so it should be quite exciting.
And so what do you think of Phelps coming in?
Oh, I think Phelps is amazing too. I really do.
It's going to be, I think everyone's going to be seeing if he can pull it off again.
Yeah.
That and that he gets to carry the flag tonight will be amazing to watch.
Wow.
Do you require your swimmers to watch the Olympics?
Well, we did Olympic trial watch parties.
Okay.
We went to Glory Days for 3 nights and Beef O'Brady's for 2 nights, and the whole team got together to watch the trials.
Good.
But they're showing the Olympics quite late, like 9 o'clock, I think it is. So
yeah, it gets to be a little tough staying up that late.
So especially with school
early.
starting,
Yeah.
so we'll probably watch it individually and then come back together and talk about it the next day of practice.
And real quick before we go, when does your season start?
We started practices this week, and then the first meet will be on August 23rd. Winter Haven will be hosting at the Rowdy Gaines Pool, and Jenkins will be hosting at Gandy.
Wonderful.
Great.
Wonderful. Well, Coach Gosline, Lawson,
Yes,
delighted to have you on the show, and
Thank you.
we want
Thank
to,
you very much.
we want to hear about these great things coming up, and
Yes, sir.
you winning the state championships, going to the nationals, and
Yeah.
then
Yes, sir, I
being
hope
picked
so.
for the U.S. Olympic team, and we're going to be
cheering
right there
for you.
behind you.
Thank you.
Well, before our second segment, we've got a great little clip for you to watch with some kayaking tips, and we'll be back.
Hi, I'm Jeremy Meridian. I'm out here at Cold Creek State Park with Shannon Carnevale from UF IFAS Extension, Polk County. And we're out here to talk about kayaking tips. And through today's video, we're going to go over loading and unloading procedures for your kayaks, the different types of racks that are out there that you can use for different types of vehicles. Behind us, we have two, both one on an SUV, another with using a truck. And just kind of going over some of the tips to help folks out in loading and unloading these things, because they can be a little unwieldy at sometimes with as big as they can get.
Yes, they can.
Here behind us, we have your pickup truck with your kayak in the bed of it. Can you talk a little bit about how this works with this type of setup and the kayak that you have?
Sure. So with a pickup truck, you want to make sure that you're not using a kayak that's really super long. This really only works if the kayak is proportional to the size of truck you're using. So some of your long distance kayaks, your 22-foot kayaks, aren't going to work in the back of a pickup truck. But a small sit-on-top kayak like the one I've got here, which is about 9 feet, is just fine.
Now in your pickup, you have it strapped down. You have a number of things that you've taken precautions on for safety, so it doesn't go flying out the back and hit other drivers, and have all that kind of fun. Can you talk a little bit about how you get that set up?
Sure. So what we've got going on back here is we've got a couple of ratchet straps to make sure that the boat does not shift side to side when you're trying to drive. And I've also got a rope going through the kayak down to the hitch to make sure that the kayak doesn't bump up when you go over a bump in the road. This is also critically important because the way most pickup trucks are situated is if you go over a bump too quickly, the tailgate can actually come right off the truck. So you want to make sure that your kayak is tied down tightly enough so that the tailgate does not have that opportunity. But at the same time, you don't want to bend or distort your kayak. So just take bumps slowly and make sure you've got at least 3 points of contact.
All right, behind me is another type of setup that I have on my SUV. SUVs are popular, and also folks that don't have SUVs have cars, and they also need to know how to get things mounted on there, which you can do quite easily. You want to talk a little bit about that?
So whether you have a car or SUV, you can easily transport your kayak or canoe using foam racks as well. If you have rails on your car, there are some very specific mounting systems that you can use, and they tend to be specific to the type of rails you have on your car. So if you have those, just check with your local sporting goods store, and they can help you get set up for that. If you're using the foam mounts, basically what you want to do is you just put them on the car in such a way that you're not going to collapse in the roof. Typically it's over the strongest point near the doors and the windows. And then you want to make sure you have a strap over that, right over that foam rack. And that's what's going to give it that compression to really keep it in place. Additionally, you'll want to have those straps going through a handle, or if you have a sit-on-top kayak, you can put it through the hole in the kayak. Some kind of fail-safe so that if a strap were to fail and the boat came loose from your vehicle, it doesn't go flying off your car. It at least drags behind your car and keeps other motorists safe.
Well, and there's also different kinds of straps out there that come with these kits. For me, the most effective that I found are the ratchet straps.
Yes, I would agree. The ratchet straps are very user-friendly. They're very easy to use. When you're putting them on your car, though, you will want to make sure, if you're going to be driving at high speed, to twist the ratchet strap at least once. That'll keep it from whistling while you're driving, which isn't necessarily required for safety or strength, but it will drive you insane.
Yes, it will. Been there, done that one before.
Yes.
And so, talk a little bit about can you do these on the foam racks for any size of kayak?
You can, yeah. You have a lot more flexibility with the rooftop racks than you do with the back of a pickup truck. So you can use any of your longer touring kayaks, the 18, 20, 22-foot kayaks. You can absolutely put those on a car. You just want to make sure that you have flagging on the kayak, just like you would with the back of a pickup truck. And then you might need to have extra straps. A longer kayak on top of a smaller car has a tendency to wiggle as you're driving, so you'll want to make sure that you have a few extra straps from the front and the back down to the frame of your car to try and keep it stable. So while I'm more familiar with loading and transporting my kayak in a pickup truck, I've noticed that you've got some interesting tools here that you're using to make transporting your kayak easier on your SUV. Could you describe those to us?
Sure. I found over the years just a couple of things to help me, load and unload both my kayak, canoe, some things to help me when I'm by myself and don't have someone to help take it off the top. And I've got a bike rack on the back that when you extend it up, it kind of makes for an easy balancing point for the kayak, and from there you can use the T-handle and use the rack to just kind of guide it back up and put it onto the top. The other thing that I have when I don't have the bike rack on the back is a pad that attaches with Velcro straps real easy to the rails on the top of the car, and it drapes over the back so it protects your paint. And that way you can slide the canoe, kayak, whatever you have right on up there. They're real affordable, cheap options to just kind of help you out a little bit. All right, well, thank you so much for going over the tips today on unloading and loading of these kayaks and the different options that we have out there for how we can haul them around and get them on and off of our vehicles. We really do appreciate that.
Well, thank you so much for having me.
Hello everyone, and welcome to our second segment on Sports Central. Hank Longo along with Jessica Roberts, and a great first segment. Wishing this young guy a lot of luck. Lawson's going to go get him, and we have a fun second segment, but of course we want to thank our sponsor for segment number 2.
This segment sponsor is Harborside Restaurant in Winter Haven.
And joining us from Southeastern University, Coach Clay Roberts, the head men's soccer coach, and also the Lakeland Tropics indoor soccer team coach. Coach, Glad to have you with us.
Thanks for having me with you guys.
That's great. So let's talk a little bit about your team and how did you get into soccer to begin to even get to where you are today? There's got to be a little
there's a long story there. That's a lot of years ago. Started playing soccer, at a young age, 3 years old, and father is from Lakeland, big football family, but just enjoyed soccer, and so put us in soccer at a very young age, and so just enjoyed it. Fell in love with the sport. Played obviously in high school, collegiately, and was blessed to play professionally for 7 years after college. So just a lot of fun moments with soccer.
And what's the difference as a player going from college to professional?
Just the athleticism, collegiately there's some very high level athletes, and the game is played at a certain pace, and so as soon as you make that jump, everybody's really good. Everybody's fast, everybody's strong, and so just the physicality of it, and then just the technical aspects of it really kind of come into a different light. But I think probably the key factor or pillar is what we would call is just the psychological element, just the preparation and game management, all of that higher level kind of thinking throughout the game is probably the difference maker.
It's fascinating to watch soccer because after every kick or head hit with the ball, everything changes again. So it's a continuing changing atmosphere going on out there the whole time.
Yeah, it's there's a lot of practice put in to manage those situations. It is an ever-changing game. There's very few stoppages, and so you have to train that way. And as we teach our players and coach our players, you have to be able to solve problems. And so it's a great sport. For me, it's a great sport for youth, especially in talking about that, just learning to solve problems at a young age. It's an interesting part at sometimes where you're questioning and saying, what were you thinking? But that makes for the sport. That lets it remain a sport. There's room for error, and so it's a fun game.
As a pro, you played in Philadelphia and Charlotte. Mm-hmm. So what brought you back to Lakeland, just coming home?
Yeah, I think it's a move for home. At that point in my life, just was married and just found out we were going to have a son, and so just kind of began to talk through those things with my wife, and do we want to stay in Philadelphia and raise our family, or do we want to look for another option? And ultimately it brought us back to Florida and here at Southeastern now. So we have 3 little boys, and excited to call Lakeland home, and excited about what's going on at Southeastern. So it's been a good move, a lot of family in town, so a move back home, if you will.
Good.
Well, you've done pretty good with Southeastern. In 2015, you Sun Conference regular season and tournament champions, and made it to the Sweet 16. So, a great year. What's up for this year? Trying to get past the Sweet 16.
Hopefully we're riding
probably
the
the number one, huh?
No, we're excited about this year. Obviously, last year was a historical season for Southeastern. And reached a lot of goals that that had been spoken about, but we're able to retain those goals, and obviously those are back on the board as new goals. But like you said, I think probably the biggest thing is that those returning players still have that taste of that Sweet 16 loss that they're going to come back in and be motivated to start working towards, and and hope to at least reach that goal and more this year. We've got a demanding schedule. Probably the toughest schedule that Southeastern has ever played, and including the defending national champion, #1 team in the country. And so we're excited about that. That's Rio Grande University. They're a talented group. I think probably the last few years they've historically been in the top 10, if not #1 throughout the course of the year. And so they're a talented group, and we're just excited to play, tough competition. I think by playing a tough competition,
you get better.
We gain the experience. We come into our conference knowing that we can be at a certain level, and it provides us measures early on in the season to see what we need to do when it really matters as the season progresses. So we're excited about that. It's going to be a tough season. For us to go 16-4 this season, I'll be a happy guy. We're going to be in a great place if we're in that position again. And so, but I believe that we have the tools to do it. And so they're committed. Some guys have been in early, back on campus, doing early workouts. And so we're excited for Monday to start preseason.
And in addition to Southeastern, you've got the Florida Tropics this year. So can you explain the startup process with that? And how does this year look for you?
It's going to be busy. We have indoor soccer is a fantastic sport. I was blessed to play for a few years in Philadelphia, and as it came to Lakeland and just kind of gained knowledge about kind of what the organization was going to be and what their desires were, I simply reached out and said, hey, we're going to be good neighbors anyhow. So what does that look like? And it developed into an offer to be the head coach, and so it's just going to be a lot of time management, really. I'm excited about that opportunity. We'll practice in the morning time before we get to the university, and so that kind of will be out of the way, if you will, for the rest of the day, which is pretty common. A lot of the, as a professional, you train early in the morning, you have the rest of the day to do appearances or things like that, community opportunities, and so it's a lot of planning. The season, there's a lot of excitement, a lot of momentum around it, and so we're excited to get it going. We'll be at the Lakeland Center. We'll be our home venue, and so there will be some fun games. I hope the community comes out. They're going to really enjoy it.
Good.
Tell the folks out there that aren't familiar with the Florida Tropics how it came about and who they play, during the year, and what's up for you with that.
Yeah, so indoor soccer is a nationwide league. Currently, the Major Arena Soccer League is the current name. It's changed some names over the year. When I played, it was Major Indoor Soccer League, and so it's just been some name changes that have gone over the course of time. But it's a professional league throughout the country, and so we'll be playing teams as far north as Rochester, Syracuse, Baltimore, and teams out west in San Diego and Las Vegas. And so it's a fun league. Indoor soccer is a fun game. If you like hockey, you'll enjoy indoor soccer. It's a lot different. It's played on the same size field as a hockey rink.
Okay.
The boards are in play, and so there's less stoppage as you would see in an outdoor soccer game. There's more goals, and so I think for the fan favorites out there in an outdoor soccer game, there may be one goal, and so you really have learned to appreciate the game if it's a low-scoring contest. But in indoor soccer, you're going to see a lot more goals, and so it's fan-friendly. It's high pace, it's high energy, and so you have
it's
the
right in your face, I would think.
Yeah, you're right there close as a fan, and so it really is a fun game. I tell everybody, if you come to a game, you'll be a fan for life. It's a unique game, kind of like hockey. You're a part of it as a spectator.
Which one do you like more, being a player or being a coach?
The love for the game is a player, but early on in my career, I said, I want to be able to give back to this game. If I'm going to be blessed to have the experiences and that I've had, I want to be able to give that back. And so I started coaching while I was playing, and I kind of had the plan to go into coaching post my playing career. And so I've been blessed to coach at a few different universities and to be a part of a professional organization. And senior management. So to be here at Southeastern as the head coach, I really feel blessed. This is a time that changed my life, and so it's fun to be able to give back and help guide some of these young men who have the same aspirations.
Well, it's also the opportunity to develop them into not only successful athletes, but successful people. So when they get out of school, they take those lessons and apply it to the real world, that they've learned in soccer, which is, you got to be disciplined, you've got to be, training is important, you got to have a schedule, you've got goals, and so there's got to be some reward in what you're able to do to help, motivate these young people as young professionals going out into the world.
Exactly. I mean, I think that's probably the biggest gain, from a coach's perspective that you walk away with, knowing that, one out of the 30 guys on our team might have an opportunity to keep playing a sport for a living, and the rest are going to go find, whatever their craft is, whatever their career is going to be. And so that's probably the most rewarding part, is to hear that phone call or that email from a past player saying, hey, coach, excited for you this season. Thanks. Here's where I'm at. Here's where, my family's at. And so those are, the memories and the relationships that are built out of it. Well, like you said, the disciplines that come out of being a part of a team sport collegiately, those are lifelong lessons that they're going to walk away with. So it's really fun.
When does the Southeastern season start, and what about the Tropics?
Yeah, so Southeastern, we're starting preseason Monday, and so we're gearing up. We have a home scrimmage August 13th against Huntington University, and then we go on the road for 6 games. So we're gone for a little bit.
Wow.
We'll be in Kentucky, in Savannah, and then out in Mississippi, and kind of make our way back. And so a home opener will be September 15th against Truett McConnell University, and so excited for that. Those dates are plugged in, and we're working towards those. But the Tropic season will start early November, and so we'll start our preseason again middle to late October, and then I think we're going to have an opening contest in the first or second week in November at the Lakeland Center. So just around the corner, a lot of excitement. Everybody's
kind of bouncing back a
lot.
lot.
We'll manage a little bit of overlap there, but it'll work out, and so we're excited for it.
Good.
Well, Coach Roberts, hey, delighted to have you on the show, and so insightful, and looking forward to you. We're going to be rooting for you. Have a great, successful year, getting that sweet Final Four and win it this year.
We're going to try. We're going to go for it.
Take them down, and we're going to be rooting for you.
Great. Thank you.
Well, Jessica Roberts is going to be in this next little segment, and you're going to learn a little bit about our Bartow History Center.
Central Florida's Polk County is known for family fun, fantastic weather, and unique attractions. And today we're going to visit one of those unique places, the Polk County History Center in Bartow. Let's check it out. Bartow is the capital city of Polk County, and the History Center lives in the county's original courthouse, built in 1908. The development and success of Polk County, named for the 11th president, James K. Polk, is connected to the industries that thrive here: agriculture, beekeeping, turpentine, the railroad, phosphate, cattle ranching, citrus, tourism, and commerce. The first Red Lobster opened in Lakeland in the late 1960s, and the first public supermarket opened in Winter Haven in 1940. Did you know Florida's first theme park was built in Polk County? In 1930, Cypress Gardens opened in Winter Haven and showcased the natural beauty of Central Florida along the shores of Lake Eloise. The attraction included Southern Bells and water ski shows. And today you can stroll through those same gardens when you visit Legoland Florida Resort in Winter Haven. The History Center also features treasures from Block Tower Gardens and Chalet Suzanne. Kids will enjoy the Children's Discovery Room in Florida's natural world. They can live like a pioneer and churn butter in the replica Cracker House, or imagine life as a Seminole Indian in the replica Chickee House. Next, kids can marvel at fossils that have been found hidden deep in the ground across Polk County, and then identify animals found in the Green Swamp. The second floor of the Polk County History Center showcases our military history and the native people who first inhabited Florida. 2 restored courtrooms from 1908 and 1926 are used for special events like monthly lunch and learns and weddings. The History Center's more eclectic exhibits feature Florida's early highways and the people who traveled them, unique and vintage fashion, and accessories worn by women in the early 1900s, and handmade fishing lures used to reel in bass. As you can see, the exhibits at the Polk County History Center are engaging and fun for the entire family, and admission is free. I had a great time visiting today, and you will too.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to our third segment on Sports Central. Hank Longo, along with the beautiful Jessica Roberts. Boy, you just
My interest
make it
gets
so
better as the show goes on.
It's just so delightful to be here with you. It
I'm
just
happy to
kind of
be
makes the whole set look a lot better, doesn't it? I think you'll all agree to that. But hey, our sponsor for this next segment.
It's Hampton Inn in Winter Haven.
Well, this is like our Southeastern show today, and what a delight it is to have all these guest celebrities joining us. And our next one is Coach Keith Barefield, and he is the head football coach at Southeastern University. And Coach, great to have you back on the show again.
Great to be here for my third year.
Yeah, and it's a new season coming up. It's hard to believe that summer is almost over, and it's time for football already again, which a lot of people have been waiting for all summer.
Well, we've been eagerly anticipating the start of our preseason, which we begin Monday, and looking forward to a new season here at Southeastern.
That's wonderful. Now, Have you had the guys out practicing a little bit earlier, or do you have to wait till the official day?
Well, we have to wait. That'd be a little bit against the rules to have them out too early. But we've had some guys here over the summer. They've been working out in the weight room, and we've been able to talk to them and do the things that we can do with them, but that's very little. But most of the guys have been home all summer. We haven't seen them since May, so that's about a good 3 months or so, and we're anxious to see what they look like and get reacquainted, and we'll start doing that on Monday, and we'll have an exciting time.
Wow.
Nice. Now, in your second season, you were named the Sun Conference champions. So how does that feel?
Well, it's very gratifying. You know, we have a lot of young guys, and you know, that's one of the things that we have as a goal every year is to win our conference championship. That's one thing. You know, we started the season out, our program out, in the first year we were 8-3, and we played for the conference championship. And so to go 10-1 in the second year and to
That's fantastic.
we're very pleased with that. Although, you know, we definitely want to improve on that, because our next goal is to make the national playoffs and to compete in postseason play.
Well, you've got a lot of your team coming back, so that should be a big help for you. Any particular heroes you think that are going to make a difference on your team?
Well, you know, all the guys are heroes in our eyes, but we do have some guys that have distinguished themselves in the first 2 years of our program. Jarrell Reynolds, our running back, he's done an outstanding job. He's been all conference both years, and the first year he was a conference offensive player of the year. And so
wow.
he's been a real standout for us, and we think that this year he should really garner a lot of attention for being an All-American if he has the kind of year that he has had the first 2 years, and he can build upon that. And our opponents don't key on him too much, and hopefully we can have a few more weapons that will kind of keep them from keying on him too much. But one weapon that we do have is Michael Weary, who's a Lakeland product here, and he had an outstanding year as a wide receiver, and he was also all conference, and he'll be a senior this year. He transferred from Youngstown State, so we're excited about his prospects for this year, and he'll definitely be an important part of our offense.
And speaking of offense, so your offense was ranked 4th in the NAIA with 12 of your starting runners returning. So what's going to be your greatest strength?
Well, what we didn't have in our first 2 years is a lot of experience, because, you know, 2014 was our very first year. Last year was our second year. We've had success, but the key to us is that, you know, on the offensive side of the ball, we do have a lot of returners back. We have what we would consider 12 starters back. So we don't really lose anything. And the reason we only put 11 people out there at the time, but another one of our young men, he started about half of the games last season. But our offensive line, we have our offensive line back intact for this, with 2 years of experience for the third straight year. That's very important, because they're the heart and soul of the offense.
They are. You know, and this is kind of going off the topic just a little bit, but that you say that, what a lot of people I don't think realize is if you look at the salaries of the NFL players, the highest paid players in the NFL, I wouldn't say all of them, but a majority of them are the offensive line. And because if you don't have a good offensive line, your running back isn't going to do good, your quarterback's going to be getting knocked down all day.
Well, it doesn't matter how good those guys are if those big offensive linemen can't protect that quarterback and open up the holes for the running backs to run through, and give our quarterbacks time to throw it downfield to the receivers and give them a chance to get open. You won't be successful. And everything starts with that offensive line. And we've been very fortunate. When we started recruiting in 2013, we brought in 6 offensive linemen that we thought would be our core players. We brought in more, but we had 6 that we really focused on, and every one of those guys are still with us.
That's fantastic.
And they're still playing. They're starters or number 1 backups, or somebody we would consider a 6th starter. And we've had that continuity, that consistency, and we've had a great coach in John Flath, who came to us from Lakeland High School. He's done a great job with those guys, and those guys are the core and the focal point of our offense. And I guarantee you, you talk to our quarterbacks, you talk to Jarrell at running back, you talk to our receivers, they're glad we have those big guys up front.
Yeah.
And they work so hard.
Yeah, especially the quarterback, you know.
Oh.
The running back is going that way. The quarterback is hoping nobody's coming this way.
Well, if those guys are smart, the quarterbacks will be taking those guys out to dinner a few times during the season.
Exactly.
Tell us a bit about the defense.
Well, you know, our defense, we have quite a bit of our starters returning on defense. We have a little bit of a different defensive scheme in that Coach Marsh, who was with me the first 3 years that we were here, he's moved on to another opportunity, and Chad Adams has come in as our defensive coordinator. So we're going to have a little bit of a change there in philosophy and the way we do things. Coach Adams was with me for 4 years as my defensive coordinator at Northwestern Oklahoma State. So it's not somebody that's new to me. He may be new to our players, but he's not new to me. And we were in the playoffs three of those 4 years that Coach Adams was with me at Northwestern. So I know he knows what he's doing, and we're excited about what he's bringing to the table. But defensively, our front line is returning. We have probably the heart and soul of our defense. Will Tillo returning at inside linebacker. Mark Myers, our premier corner, our what we call a shutdown corner, he's returning. Was all conference as both a defensive cornerback and as a return specialist on the special teams. He'll be back, and we're just excited about what's happening over there. Plus, you know, we feel like we have a great group of recruits coming in that will help us right away and give us great depth on the defensive side of the ball. So that's really a bright spot. And just like you talk about the offensive lineman being the heart and soul of the offense, the defense is really the heart and soul of the team, because, you know, if we can keep guys from scoring, the other teams from scoring, we at least won't lose a game.
Yes, definitely.
It's a good strategy.
How's your schedule? What's coming up for you? I know you're against Faulkner for your first game, and how are they as a competitor, and what's coming up after them?
Well, I probably wasn't very smart in scheduling Faulkner for our first game. We played them our first game every year since I've been here. We've had a program, and they've always been nationally ranked. I was asked earlier today about how tough they were going to be. I said, well, they're not ranked as high as they were the first 2 years, but the problem is they're still ranked in the top 25. Wow. And so they're a very formidable opponent. We play in Montgomery at their place, so that will be a stiff test for us to see really just how far we've come as a team, because we played our very first game ever in the history of Southeastern University in Montgomery against Faulkner. And I think our team played very competitively, although, you know, the score, I think they beat us by about 3 touchdowns, but our guys stayed in there and they fought hard. Not what a first-year program you would think the score would be against a team that was a nationally ranked and a national playoff team. And last year we lost by 11 to them, so we narrowed the gap. Hopefully we can narrow it a little bit more. And of course, Faulkner's of the differing opinion about that.
Of course.
They wanted to try to stop you, but
it's going to be a great challenge going to Montgomery, and just to see how much my little boys have grown up in the last 2 years.
Yeah, definitely.
Fantastic.
And so the Sun Conference is actually turning into the Mid-South Conference. So next year, what does that mean for you guys?
In 2017, we will be joining the Mid-South Conference.
Okay.
Our conference will still be intact in the sense that we will be the Sun division of that conference.
Okay.
There'll be 20 teams, and it will be the largest conference in the country, which is great. But the best thing about it is we don't have to worry about a schedule, because the most difficult thing we have is putting together a schedule for a season. This year we only have 9 games, and the reason we have 9 games is we're a young program. We've been successful, and nobody wants to come down here to Central Florida and play us. So now we're locked into a conference schedule where we'll have at least 10 games. We'll do a lot more traveling than we are now, because those teams will be in Kentucky, Tennessee. One is even in Ohio.
Wow.
And in Virginia. And so there'll be a little more traveling involved for us, but it'll be a lot more competitive. It will help us scheduling wise, and we'll bring some teams in here to Lakeland that Lakeland has never seen, that are that are high quality teams.
Is it going to be? Are they going to be more? Are their teams going to be a higher level of ability than the teams that you're playing now? Or are you going to have tougher opponents?
Well, we'll still they'll all be NAIA opponents.
Okay.
But in the last 2 years, we've not only played NAIA schools, but we played NCAA schools. So all of our competition will be NAIA, but the Mid-South is one of the most respected conferences within the NAIA. They perennially put 3 to 4 teams in the national playoffs every year. Wow. And Faulkner, who we play now, is currently a member of the Mid-South. Okay. So we'll be joining them, but our Sun division will pretty much stay the same, with the exception Faulkner will be moving into the Sun division of the Mid-South Conference, and Point University, which is currently a member of the Sun Conference, they'll be moving into what will be known as the Appalachian division, and then there will be a Bluegrass division. So there'll be 3 divisions within the one conference.
Wow, very good. Well, it sounds like a fun season, a challenging season coming up. Your prediction for this year?
Well, I don't predict. I'm not a prognosticator, but okay. I guarantee you this, that every week we'll go out and we'll compete just like we have the first 2 years. And if our guys play and compete like that against our competition, we have a chance to win every week.
Well, that's fantastic.
That's
well,
great.
Coach Barefield, we want to wish you the best. We're rooting for you and look forward to following you through the season.
Thank you very much. It's a pleasure to be here.
It's always a treat having you. Love talking football. And now we are going to go into one of our super young athletes here in Polk County. Our spotlight is on Christin Strawbridge. She's an incoming senior at Southeastern University and born and raised in Lakeland, who won the Polk County Female Collegiate Athlete of the Year this year at the 2016 Polk County All Sports Awards. So enjoy this footage, and then we'll be back. Hank and Jessica.
I grew up here in Lakeland, and the first time I ever played basketball, I was like 7-ish, second grade, and it was at Lakeside Baptist Church, which is right here in town, and it was like on a carpet court, and it was just a bunch of my friends from church and school, and so it was really fun. I grew up playing soccer and basketball, and then when I got to middle school, they were both the same season, so I had to think about it. It was probably like the biggest decision I had made up till that point in 6th grade. And my dad played basketball at the University of Florida and here at Lakeland High School, and I just knew that it was something fun that we always did together, and I didn't want to lose that with him, and I loved the sport, so I thought that that was the one I would choose. Something that's really special about my dad is he's always said, don't do this for me. If you ever want to quit, I want you to know that you can. And so I've constantly thought about it, is this something I want to continue doing next year? And it's always been a yes. It's never really been like oh, I don't know. It's always been, yeah, that's what I want to do. Yeah, I want to play in college, so. But this being my senior year, it's my last year, so that's crazy. I think that it takes a lot of determination. And you just have to have like a love for the game, because for me, like, you spend a lot of time doing it, and if you don't love it, then it's why do it? I don't want to do anything in life that I don't love, so that's what's really kept me committed and kept me having fun doing this. Also, I think that it's always good to have a balanced life, so that basketball isn't the only thing I'm doing, that I'm being able to spend time with friends and make relationships. For me, it's really important to spend time at church and doing other things like that, because when basketball becomes the center of my life, I begin to hate it and not have fun. Playing a sport and being in college, you have to be really good at time management, so that's huge. Just then, like, going through things that are hard and pushing through that has been really great. I think it helps also build relationships that are going to last for the rest of your life. So no matter what school that's at in my past or here now, like, I know that I am building relationships with people that I'm going to stay in communication with in my life and who call me to be better than I am, and that's just awesome. my role on the team this past year was to score points and get rebounds, and that's something that people recognize, and that's something that's easy to recognize. Also, I'm pretty big out there, so it's hard to miss me. So because that was my role and that's what people recognize, I got the awards, but I couldn't have done it without my teammates. Like, they take the ball pretty much all the way down the court. I just finish it this last couple feet. So it's their hard work and their determination is what's really also reflected in those awards. Knowing beforehand the things that I need to accomplish in that game and how I need to help my team really helps me, in thinking through my moves, like mentally preparing is very helpful. But also just when I get to the game saying, all right, take a deep breath, let's go out and do my best, and then whatever happens, happens. I think the biggest thing that can help you in preparing is knowing that my identity does not ride on how I play in this game. There's a lot more to me than just Christin, the basketball player. So that helps take a lot of pressure off, and know that my parents are still gonna love me. God still loves me no matter what I do in this game. And it's just really, it just allows me to have the freedom to go out there and just have fun and do my best. I have a lot of dreams, and I like this time in life because I have so many options. Which path I want to go down. I'm a business administration major, so there's a lot of different things that I could do with that. I think right now I would like to stay here maybe and get my master's because I think that that's something that's very beneficial to have. And also, I have a dream of one day opening my own business here in Lakeland, so we'll see how that goes. I love Lakeland, love the city, been here for 21 years, so really excited to hopefully creating something that can give back to a community that's given so much to me.
Hello everybody, and welcome back to our fourth segment of Sports Central. Hank and Jessica here, and another great sponsor for our final segment on the show.
The Cleveland Heights Golf Course in Lakeland.
And we have all kinds of fun stuff coming up here in the month of August, actually even going into September. But a big one that you're going to want to catch because it's kind of wrapping up the season. You don't want to miss this. It's the Lakeland Flying Tigers. And from August 5th to September 3rd, they're at Henley Field. And what a great event that is to get to one of their games because they're so family oriented.
It is. The tickets are low priced. And they have specials each night. So they might have all you can eat night. They might have $1 hot dogs, $1 chips, $1 drinks. And then sometimes they have bring your dog to the stadium or to the game. They have a lot of special events. It's great. And the Flying Tigers are also great for birthday parties. So if you have a small child or a young boy baseball player or a young softball player, boys and girls, they would love to host or have their party at the Tigers Stadium. I do believe they might actually get to throw out the first pitch at a game, and then the players come over and talk to them, which is always great if you're 7. So yeah, it's just a great organization, and season tickets for the upcoming year will go on sale this winter. So their season ticket package is great. So if you can't make a game, you can actually trade in your seats for another game. Yep, and as a season ticket holder, you get all of their bobbleheads, all of their game day toys or giveaways. You get each one of them, even if you're not there.
Oh wow!
Yeah,
They do a fantastic job.
Really,
the Tigers,
really do.
of course, have had their spring training here longer than any team in Major League, and also with the Flying Tigers, who are their A development team. And you never know what young superstars are going to come out of the Flying Tigers, and we'll get that $20 million a year contract and live happily ever after. But if you can, once again, August 3rd to September 3rd at Henley Field, because they're redoing the Tigers Stadium. So that's why they're at Henley Field. Table Tennis Association is coming up with their big event August 12th through Saturday, August 13th at Simpson Park, and kind of one of those neat events that you don't get to see a lot of. That's fascinating. It's a major United States Association table tennis tournament, and a big shout out to Josh Hicks, who I whooped in table tennis up in Branson, Missouri this past week as we were doing our shoot up there for
Did you get video of
the
that?
Regions Archery National Championship. And in our downtime, the Westgate resort up there had a tennis table, you know, ping pong as they would call it, but I am glad to say I left there the champion. But anyhow, enough of that.
I'll have to give him some heat for that.
We've got the Florida Independent Sports Association UC softball tournament, a qualifying tournament. Freedom Sports presents the Freedom Sports Co-ed States, and that's a slow pitch tournament that's going on, but a fun thing going on in Winter Haven at Main Street you can turn us on to a little bit.
Anita Strang of Main Street Winter Haven, or Main Street Winter Haven, is hosting Beer and Bites on August 18th. And so for $20, you pay and you get a souvenir cup. And then local businesses are providing the beer samples and food samples. And so it's a great way to get your friends and go have a little bit of beer, a little bit of food, and shop your way through Winter Haven, which has wonderful boutique stores.
It's really developed.
I just love
Downtown
the
Winter
shop
Haven
and Andy
is,
Thornall and all the great places down there.
Anita Strang in downtown Winter Haven have just done a fabulous job to re-innovate and develop this area, and they've got a new brewery coming into town starting
Grove Roots,
soon, and little shops. It's really turned into a great little place to go hang out. Now, for the $20, does that cover drinks and food?
Yes, it does. It's just a sampling of each.
Okay, so you get to try this and that, and
but there's usually about 19 or 20 businesses participating, so you'll leave full. Yeah.
Okay, and that is taking place August 18th. I'll be back in town. That could be a fun. And I live in Winter Haven.
Hey, we could do that. There you go.
There you go. Hey, let's do a show on that.
We should.
I'll bring my camera. We're on. We'll show you what it's all about when we come live to you August. Well, we'll film it August 18th live and then bring it to the folks. All kinds of events going on. The Florida Independent Sports Association, ISA, another adult softball game, and we have so much softball, soccer, FYSA, Florida State Premier League, and that's taking place August 27th to the 28th. And then once again, the ISA is going to be here September 3rd to September 4th, so we'll tell you more about that with our shows coming up in the future. And just a lot of soccer and a lot of softball going on. Let's talk about the city of Lakeland, though, kind of get into something different with the tennis that's going on in there, and that's always a great event at the Berman Family Tennis Center.
Yeah, that's on Edgewood Drive, so it's located conveniently for North and South Lakeland residents. It's open to the public, and this is, I don't know what year it is, but this has been going on for decades, I think.
And just great to see how this gets these young kids out there playing tennis, and what a fabulous sport there is for keeping them off the streets and doing something fun. And we're going to end up with some more table tennis September 16th to the 17th, and just a lot of things going on, and a fun summer. We're in the heat of it, and I've had the pleasure to be on tour to hit the major water ski tournaments with the exciting news of our American Water Ski Educational Foundation that is going to be leaving Polk City and moving here to Lake Myrtle, and that's real exciting news that we're going to have another governing body here at the Lake Myrtle Sports Complex, and the new USA Water Ski headquarters, along with the USA Water Ski Foundation, which is going to have the Hall of Fame Museum. And what a treat for us to have that moving here within the next year. So some fabulous developments there. And a bunch of people we'd like to thank to end the show.
Our show sponsors include Hyatt Place Lakeland, Abuelos in Lakeland, the Trophy Shop, Holiday Inn Winter Haven, and Harry's Old Place in Winter Haven.
I love Harry's Old Place in Winter Haven. It's just, actually, I live on that lake.
Ah.
So I can boat to Harry's Old Place.
Do you get that
dinner.
Paper bag meal?
I get the
it's grouper in a bag?
in a bag, yeah. That's always a delightful treat, and I'm safe, just floating home.
Good.
So a big thanks to all of our sponsors, and we love all of your support. Of course, if you want to know more about what's going on, you can go to www.centralfloridasports.com or give us a call at 551-4750. And our next show live at Sports Central is going to be August 19th. So we'll see you again back then, and check out our radio show, Sports Central, as well. Hank and Jessica saying bye-bye.